All right. So you get the 1,000-yard stare for just a second here while I make sure that I'm actually live. You know, everybody does it. No matter who you are, when you go live on Facebook, there's the 1,000-yard stare of like, is it working? Is this actually doing something? All right. It tells me I'm live and I'm about 12 seconds in, 14 seconds in, just killing time. Hey, my name is Candace Shalou, and I am a little something called the Motley Mystic, and I want to welcome you to the Motley Mystic Monday Moment, or as we're calling it. The purpose of these videos is to help you start your week off with a new spiritual tool that you can use to deepen your spirituality and renew your connection to Source. And if you like these videos, if you're getting something out of them, I hope that you will join our growing Motley Mystic community by subscribing to my blog at motleymystic.substack.com, or you can join the Facebook page, and I'm going to share those links with you down below, so it makes it easy to find. So today we're talking about, hang on, I'm just going to stop this roll for a second. I give away all of my secrets here. Yes. So today I've called this "You Get a Grievance" and "You Get a Grievance," and so we're going to be talking a little bit about grievances and what those can do to us and how we can get rid of them. All right. So I'm going to start this now. It was back a couple of years ago, I guess. I gave a lesson at Jubilee Circle, and I taught on lesson 68 from A Course in Miracles. And the lesson that day was love holds no grievances. And from the back of the room, this voice came plaintively, none. That voice, it sounded just like my ego, hoping against hope that I could keep just a couple of my pet grievances, some of the grudges I really enjoy visiting, some of those snarky judgments of others that just tickle me when I think about them. Right, I'm the only one. Yeah, don't look at me like that. I want something to ruminate over, to be cynical about, please, right? So if, however, we want to remember who we are, that we are the light of the world, this is not possible. Just like being a little bit pregnant, we can't be a little bit enlightened. Holding any grievance, even if we believe it's just a teeny tiny one that we would just like to have, it splits our mind between the ego and spirit, and a split mind is an unhealed mind. This is why the Course tells us that we can either have a grievance or we can have a miracle, but we can't have both. Perhaps, though, we might want to back up. Let's talk about what a grievance is. Now, it's certainly all those areas that we feel outraged about, the big things, right? The suffering and injustice in the world, the leaders we blame for causing all of that suffering and injustice, and the others that we blame for not doing anything about the leaders who are allowing all of that to go on. But grievances can also appear to be tiny. You know, that irritation you feel when the lines at Walmart are long, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, or it rains on your perfect picnic plans. Just as there is no order of difficulty in miracles, there's no scale of grievances, tiny grievances. They're just as prohibitive to miracles as those we think are big. So this lesson in the Course, then, it asks us to think about somebody that we might have a grievance with. And it just, come on, it's just going to pop right into your head. You know it. When you think about that person, it's like that. So the one that has occupied my mind for the past 5 years or so is a dude that used to be our president. His manner of being, his lying, his selfishness, the greed, you know, they still drive me around the bend if I stop and think about it. And they cause me, even now, to feel anxiety and anger and yeah, superiority. I can't see him as anyone who is just someone who thrives off the suffering of others. That's just the only way I feel like I can see him. And this is a really big grievance, even now that he's out of office. But if it's preventing me from experiencing a miracle in my life, I want to get rid of it. And that doesn't mean I got to fall in love with the guy, it doesn't mean I give tacit approval to anything that he does that may cause suffering. But what it does mean is this: I can't hate him. I have to let go of that hatred. It means that I will ask for a miracle so I can see him differently, so I can see him as a child of God who has been hurt so deeply and has subjected himself so ruthlessly to the dictates of his ego for so long that his light of divinity, and yes, he has one, it has become so covered with the ego's hatred and fear that that light, that divine light, has become invisible to him. And when I think about him this way, I realize I feel compassion for him because, you know, he and I, we really are not all that different. He sets me off because he reminds me that I also possess the qualities of selfishness and greed and anger and fear and jealousy and attack. And when I think about all those faults that I see in him, It just leads me to do exactly what he does, attack those I blame for the problems of the world. And he couldn't spark that in me if we didn't share a lot of egoic similarities. I did, however. Last year, I had a really big spark of hope for him when he talked. He came on and talked about how, just like a miracle, COVID-19 will disappear. And I'm like, yes, I was eager for those words to come true. That's a miracle we can all have. It's totally possible for COVID-19 to disappear like a miracle. But not for this guy, because after invoking the possibility of a miracle, the next words out of his mouth were a grievance. They were words drenched in hatred and blame and attack. Every choice we make in this world, friends, the Course reminds us, is either for a miracle or a grievance. And I keep wondering what would have happened if he had made that firm choice for a miracle, if he had abandoned his grievances. He could have chosen that miracle for all of us, but he chose a grievance for himself. But you know what? We all do it because grievances are seductive. They make us feel good. They make us feel like either the victim or the hero, or both at the same time, the hero who's treated terribly by the world. We could all be having this miraculous life, but too often we're choosing attack. We're perpetuating our own sense of suffering and grandiosity. So what do? How do we get rid of our grievances? Well, I think the first step is to see them clearly, to bring that darkness that we feel to the light. You may feel completely justified holding a grudge against someone that you see has done you harm. But aren't you just keeping the wound open? I mean, whoever you are blaming for hurting you, or someone you love, or the world, they're going on their merry way. They're living their best life. The only one who is suffering from a grievance is the one who harbors it. Now you may say, oh, you don't understand. You don't know how terrible it was. How awful, how evil. Well, if they're no longer doing it to you or the world, why are you still holding on to it? If they're still perpetuating harm and evil in the world, what are you doing to mitigate that? Ruminating over old wounds or simply complaining about those you blame for the state of the world, it doesn't do anything but keep miracles at bay. So imagine how much space you'd have in your heart, how much space you'd have in your mind without all those old grievances. Imagine the miracles that would be showing up for you if you would clear out the garbage of grievances and make room for them. So this week I invite you, examine your grievances, both large and small. No matter their size, they're preventing you from receiving a miracle, that change in perspective that allows you to fulfill your function as the light of the world. Grievances prevent you from realizing that you are created out of love and joy and peace, because grievances, they bring about only fear and loathing, conflict, war. What we nurture inside of ourselves shows up in the world around us. So I invite you, when you think of those with whom you have grievances, instead of dwelling on their faults, dwell on the commonalities that you have with them. Those emotional commonalities. We all have fear and anger and greed. But even if that commonality that you can think of is just being human or being a parent, or even they were a child at one time like you, when we dwell on our commonalities instead of our perceived differences, the grievances drop away. And when that happens, Muslim mystic poet Hafez says, we open ourselves up to some pretty mind-blowing miracles. This is one of my favorite poems, and it goes like this. Picture the face of your beloved becoming your face, and his body fitting on you like a coat you won't take off again. Don't move so fast now, when such a rare kiss is being offered. For what lips can really connect with a body wired to a mind that is darting about in a manic hurry? That's what grievances do to us. They make us manic and in a hurry. From this new perspective, he writes, look inside the heart you have sought so long to be near. Try and go deep into it. Is it not your own and mine too? Friends, we are one. We are all the same on the level of spirit. And if we can dwell in that place, grievances will have no hold on us. So I invite you, try it out this week. Bring your grievances, bring your darkness to the light. And tell me how it goes. Also this week, for you paying members over at motleymistic.substack.com, yeah, something like that. This week, For those of you who are paying members, you will begin receiving the first few chapters of the book that I'm writing. It is called The Great Wide Open, Learning to Live with an Open Heart. And it's not too late if you want to get in on the action. You can go to motleymistic.substack.com and sign up. And as always, there is a free option. There's lots of good free content as well. So please just join if you want to read the book and give me some feedback. That would be awesome. I would love to have you on board as a member to get that special Motley Mystic Content Club, Book Club, the Motley Mystic Book Club. Hey, that's what we'll call it. So if you want to join the book club, you can do that. And also, every Sunday at 11 o'clock, you can find me on Facebook or YouTube doing the Sunday morning thing at Jubilee Circle here in Columbia, South Carolina. You're always welcome to join us online for that celebration at 11 o'clock on Sunday mornings, or in the building at 6729 Two Notch Road here in Columbia, South Carolina. And you can find more information about our live broadcasts for Jubilee Circle at jubileecircle.com. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate your attention this afternoon, and I hope that you will join me again next Monday for another Motley Mystic Monday Moment. I hope you have an good week. Oh, yeah.